Tonight on Gotham, we have some delicate and dark obsessions. They're all here and they're all next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
This classy music.
Just a nice, slow push you in.
Yeah, beware of the music video though if you don't like clowns.
Nice and chill. Hello, Gotham fans. My name is Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann, Kaufmann. We are here to talk about Gotham Season 3, Episode 16, These Delicate and Dark Obsessions.
Yeah, I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me all over the internet at Joelle Monique, every week at blackgirlnerds.com. And I would like to talk about my obsession with this show and its blending of the many Batman cultures. It has been so beautiful and so great.
Let's get right into it.
Yes.
It's good there's a whole show for us to just have an outlet for our love of Gotham.
I appreciate it.
Enjoyed this episode. As of this moment on IMDb, it is the I believe it's the highest ranked Gotham episode on IMDb.
Entertainment gave it a B, and they've been Entertainment Weekly gave it a B, and they have been giving us some low B's, some C's. It's got more talking, which the non-superhero people, always appreciate.
Entertainment Weekly would absolutely love this episode. Let me retweet the tweet so more people can get into the chatty chat. I will also be in the chatty chat.
Yes. Let's
jump into Lil Wayne. That's where we left him last week. He's in the snow prison.
In the big house, in the slammer.
He's in the basement of Gotham. That's also Nepal. It's probably Nepal.
It's not good. It's cold. He does not have a blanket. I am worried about him.
Definitely worried about him. He runs into a gentleman who is not Ra's al Ghul. I can confirm that.
The actor cast is Ra's al Ghul, so...
Ra's al Ghul was cast on March 2nd, meaning they're not shooting his stuff until a little later. This person, we're not sure exactly who this person is, but he has mystical powers. He's able to take Bruce all over. He takes Bruce back in time after a little prodding and showing that it's a maze and that life is meaningless and just the normal stuff.
The normal guru things you learn.
Normal 14-year-old stuff. 15-year-old. Like, he's not 16.
No.
When I was thinking of Bruce's age today, I was like, he's not 16.
But I like a Bruce that knows he's going to be Batman. Like, in depictions I've seen of young Bruce, or when we get Bruce talking about his youth in comic books, I like that he has that kind of, like, strict determination to become Batman from an early age. Because I don't feel like that's something you can stumble into. I don't think you could just accidentally become Batman. Like, oh, I got some different trainings here and there, and now I'm Batman. I feel like he would have to have made this dedication early on.
There aren't that many versions of it, but I wouldn't mind a more Tony Stark-esque version of it, where he's just brilliant. So he's never actually training to become Batman as much as he's... No, because
then it's so cocky. Which works great for Tony, but I don't like a cocky, like, Bruce.
If I ever get the ability to write a Batman lore, I kind of want him to be an aimless 20-something millennial. Like, I want to work on something where he's an aimless 20-something millennial who doesn't understand that he should become Batman until he's 36. Why 36? Because Jesus.
Okay, I like your savior complex thing going on, but I like a Bruce that is technically dead inside and is just a puppet for this thing called Batman that has made its way. And for that to happen, it has to be an obsession from a young age, and it's got to be
he can still be. I'm not saying he has to be hapless or painless. I just want to make him also aimless. I want to make him also... I'm reinventing canon on a show that already has canon. I should stop.
I see this version, and I would have fun reading it, but Bruce, in my head canon, is always determined, and it's kind of fun when... Gotham's a great show where if it doesn't match your head canon, you're like, okay, but when it does match your head canon, you're like, someone finally gets it! And that was definitely one of those moments tonight.
It was definitely one of those moments. This gentleman who is in my notes as not Ra's al Ghul has the little magical pin that can transport Bruce back into Gotham, but in the moments leading up to and including during his parents' grisly murder that he was already a witness to, but that's probably trauma he's holding on to.
Definitely shut it out.
And this happened more than once, and it was interesting.
Yeah, every time we see the Broken Pearls, the Bats, the Night Alley, Zorro, I was rolling my eyes a little bit because I'm like, okay, this is seriously the most fleshed out story in maybe American storytelling. Like, from the start of American storytelling, like, Batman, the death of Batman's parents is probably the thing we've touched upon the most and revisited the most. And yet, this was an original way to do it.
I think the Spider-Man origin is getting up there.
You know, that's fair. We have redone a lot in the last couple of years. Poor Uncle Ben. He's been shot a lot. But I liked this. It didn't weigh down on me because instead of, it wasn't for the audience's benefit. It was strictly for Bruce trying to analyze his thoughts and feelings on this, which is not something you get a lot. A lot of times he's like, I did it, and I'm still strong. I'm not scared. I'm Batman. I am the Knight. Where here it was more like, okay, so like confront your past. Let's take a look at it. How does it make you feel? I'm glad Bruce needs therapy, maybe more than any character ever. And so even if it's just, you know, through magic needles, I'll take it.
I'm taking it. Well, and it's also that this guy's trying to make him face his demons. Go back, face his demons. In the second time, he winds up trying to take out his rage on this guy after he actually sits through the actual murder, and then he winds up with a bit of a love tap on the face, and he's bleeding, and then he wakes up in the cell still bleeding, kind of like the Matrix.
Yes.
And it's kind of just very subtly glossed over of like what happens to you in our experiences follows you back to this plane.
And see, I was wondering if that was not more of a, and I guess you said it right, like it just, if it was happening in both places, like it's not so much, like what's he, I don't know. Like I just feel like maybe he was more physically present than we'd like to think as far as the dream world versus physical world. I don't know if they were blurring lines there.
I think it's all the physical. I think what they're trying to say is that it's all the physical world, and this guy, who's not Ra's al Ghul, is metaphysical. He can transform into. This man. I searched. IMDb does not have one. Speaking of IMDb, Gordon is played by Ben McKenzie.
Yeah, it is.
IMDb says, and all the supporting articles and the distinct direction of this episode. This episode was the directorial debut of Ben McKenzie.
It was. And he did a good job, too.
Yeah, really well directed. Just all around. Like, obviously, he had that really badass walk at the end.
It did.
And I'm like, yeah, I'd have that, too.
Why wouldn't you,
I'd have that, too, if I were the director.
He's a strut off screen, and it's like... And this is kind of the first time we're getting Gordon back the way we need him to be. Like, we've seen he got cleaned up. He's not drinking so much anymore. He's, like, slowly starting to, like, solve it. But, like, he's back with Bullock here. Like, it's starting to feel like original Gordon again. And so to see him walk off, and especially seeing the preview for next week, what we're about to face, it feels like he's getting closer to Commish era Gordon, which I know we still have a whole position.
Well, he's also got some stuff to overcome.
Sure. But we're getting closer to it, and I like it.
But to start from the top, the whole Gordon and his Uncle Frank gets weird. I love that Bullock is well aware of a liver disease that means you can't drink. That makes complete sense to me, that Bullock would absolutely know what that disease is, and there's no way that person could be a drunk driver. Falcone was his lawyer. Gordon, there's a lot of, there was action in this episode, but there was a lot more of just... tense talking scenes.
Yeah, we're filling in a lot of story, which is, I guess, what makes all of the talking work. Yeah, is that there's a lot of things we've been craving information about for so long. And there
I don't want to say ticking time bombs, but there's a lot of stakes to each scene. Where Gordon confronting Carmine, there's a possibility Gordon's going to take down the two guards on either side of Carmine Falcone to really set it in. Mm. And I also love that Carmine Falcone, it was the Carmine Falcone, then the two guards, and then Gordon at his desk. And instead of saying, "Can we have the room?" he just kind of nudges to them, because that's clearly Gordon's thing.
Yeah, I don't have to say it.
It's Gordon's thing to say, can I have the room? So Carmine Falcone cannot say, "Can I have the room?" about Gordon. Like, that would never work. He needs to just tell them to go. Like, he needs to have no line. Play.
Though, if you I feel like when you're the mafia dom, when you're top of what you're doing, you're beyond words. And if people can't read your intentions, they don't deserve to be around you anyway.
Also, Benjamin Slade in the chat wants me to get into a Gotham civics lesson real quick.
Yes.
So, apparently, if at the beginning of season 2, you're the mayor, but you get kidnapped by Tabitha and her brother who wound up. You get kidnapped, and you're not seen for a while, and then you become the mayor again. But then they hold a special election where they elect
an
the
entirely
Penguin.
new mayor.
They elect the Penguin, but the Penguin turns out to be a murderer and dies by way of his chief of staff. His chief of staff goes missing, so then you become mayor again. That's a really clear line of secession.
Yeah, I feel like there's no question there as to why we bring back the old mayor that was outed.
Why we're not having another special election.
We're done. Gotham's like, we're tired. We've done a lot of voting lately. We're not sure turnout's going to be really great. Let's just go back to the old way, and we'll start, the new cycle naturally as it comes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and Gallivant was the mayor in between as well.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting Gallivant was also the mayor. Like, a lot happened.
Again, they are tired of the voting. They're like, you know what? It doesn't really matter. We'll have a new one in 2 weeks anyway. Just roll with it.
But it's also worth noting that I think them putting him back reassigning him mayor, essentially, because I think he was technically unelected, but then, like, it's weird. He was assigned mayor again. There was no election. They've made it very clear that there was no election.
I like how the most coveted spot is also mayor and not, like, governor or senator or anything. We were like, no, the top it's mayor.
Well, because if you're the governor of whatever state Gotham presides in, which isn't Kansas, because that's Metropolis. Mm-hmm. Probably Illinois, but it's probably they don't state which actual state.
We've seen both New York and Illinois use this kind of design techniques for Gotham. So either or would be fine with me. Because the buildings are so dense, I would say New York. Yeah. More of an East Coast feel to it. But, I don't know. I still think you could do a lot as, a governor of a state in Gotham. You still make big plays.
But the and maybe that's the real power play if you want to
circumvent the Court of Owls.
Worldwide or citywide, because the Court of Owls runs Gotham. Mm-hmm. So whoever's the mayor is doing the bidding of the Court of Owls, whether they know it or not. And that's what we've learned this week. That's what we've always kind of known about Gotham this whole time, is that there's a flow of things that if you stand up against the flow, it will knock you down. And depending on how hard you're standing, you might not ever get back up.
It's true.
And it might be your own brother ordering the hit on you.
You may not know where your uncle stands until right the very last minute.
Well, to be fair, since last week to this week, Frank's motivations have been the same.
They have, but I still
it was his disclosure that it was this disclosing of information that varied.
Yeah, well, that's what makes him suspect. Where you're like, okay, I see you, Frank, and it seems like you're being honest with me, but you're going back and reporting things that sound like you're still working for them, and even to the point of like where one of us has to die. I'm like, but which one? I was not sure of where Frank's allegiance is truly laid until the very end.
No, I thought it was pretty clear.
Okay, fine.
I think he always struck me as a regrettable pawn in all this, I think he also understood that if he stood up, like all have, the Court of Owls will just knock him down, and then they'll just fill his spot.
He played the smart game, no doubt about it.
He wants to take down the Court of Owls. The problem is he's sided with the Court of Owls for however old Gordon is, let's say 36. Mm-hmm. Jesus, no, I think he's a little younger than that. But but I would argue that's the idea of a greater good. Is like his position is only vindicated if his actions eventually take down the Court of Owls. Right. Because otherwise, then he doesn't actually. He could have, because then he could have just as easily stood up for it when they wanted to kill him and when they wanted to kill his brother, and fought for it, and probably him and his brother would have both died, and the Court of Owls would stayed up. However, seems now his nephew, his brother's son, needs to take on that shield.
Has to finish the job.
Needs to take and do it from the inside, which seems impossible by itself. However, something else we thought was impossible, but it happened. Gordon called Barbara.
He did! And what an exciting moment for those of us who are obsessed with Barbara, me. I freaking love Barbara, and I honestly never... In this way, like, between the fights and the last time we saw them, which was in the elevator going to rescue... oh my gosh. Why can't I think of her name? His lady. Yes. Former lady love. Doctor. So it was really cool to see them have to team up here, and also solidifies Barbara's rising rank within Gotham.
Barbara runs Gotham. it was made very clear by that one line where she was talking to the guy and he was like, Carmine Falcone never asked questions about Doc 9 DC, and she's like, when he ran things, and she was like, Carmine Falcone don't run things, honey.
It's so precious.
Also, she was wearing a mink coat and got some blood on it. And in my mind, I was immediately like, she must have a mink coat for every day. Because it's Barbara Queen and she runs this place.
Yes. And then to have her and Tabitha back together where it's just the two of them being awesome, like, lady bosses running shit.
Well, they had a whole crew.
Well, you know.
And then.
But Butch isn't there. And I feel like a lot of times when Butch is around, Tabitha, she's distracted. Which is fair. I mean, they have a cute relationship or whatever. But I like when it's the two of them, like, clearly in charge, running things. It's a lot of fun.
I'm a big fan of that. I also like the idea that even though Gordon did everything he could to try to circumvent, like, them knowing that he knows that they know, which is how this episode went down.
Yes.
All week is just, in Dark 9 DC, it didn't take long. It didn't take long at all for them to send a literal assassin with a machete, with a sword, to come and take down Barbara Queen's entire crew.
Her entire crew. I wasn't expecting it.
It was her and Tabitha ran, and then the informant was like, I didn't tell him nothing, and then he just decapitates him.
Sir, he's already here. He did not come to half-ass do this job. Your pleas will not work.
That would have been interesting if it's like, you're an innocent. You're good. It would be like, whoa.
Whoa, we got a new character alert.
Whoa, this guy's just not a nameless assassin. And then it's like, nope, nameless assassin.
We think this guy is from the League of Assassins? Maybe?
If the League of Assassins exists in this show, he would be a part of the League of Assassins. I think there might just be a separate crew of assassins under the Court of Owls that exist in this canon. But we'll find out very soon. Because it looks like they're going to be fighting out on freaks.
It's going to be fun.
Gonna be so fun. I think we're all good. On that topic.
Yeah,
we can jump on down to Penguin, which is also where we left it last week, and I was a little critical last week.
You were.
I was a little critical last week of them not backing off on Penguin. Like, nope, we're gonna Penguin in every episode. We're gonna shoot him in one episode. He's gonna be a ghost for the majority of the next episode, and then at the end of that episode, when the ghost gets vanquished, he's gonna turn up.
I feel like Penguin is the Urkel to this show. Like, people need Penguin to be around. Like, he probably tests the highest. He's certainly the character I hear about the most. So I'm with you. Dramatically, it would have made a lot of sense for them to wait 3 episodes. But I'm not mad that he's back, and especially because we get him in a new pairing. To see him with Ivy, especially now that Ivy is kind of starting to figure out who she is in her new, like, adult body and what she wants to be doing.
But it's still a 7-year-old girl.
Oh, totally.
Like, that character, I'm excited to see Ivy at all in this show because it's so beautifully played, which is, don't quote me on the age, but I think maybe 11. Like, she was younger than Bruce, so she would be like 8 or 9. Let's say 9. A 9-year-old girl in a 23-year-old girl's body. I really hope,
because that was one of the things I was critical of right before we got on the mid-season break, was that it's just frustrating to me that this material is so ripe with great storytelling opportunities. Like, what is it like when you develop overnight and suddenly men are treating you differently, and yet you still have these, like, kind of innocent childlike thoughts, which Ivy clearly does, even though she's like a thief and running around and stealing
like
and stuff.
She was 2 years on the street.
Yeah.
And, like, even before she was on the street, like, she didn't have the best home life.
No, she did not.
It's not like she's this super pure, innocent child.
No.
It's like, there's a level to that, but at the same time, like, she's still a 9-year-old girl.
She still has a lot of mental maturing to do. So it'll be interesting to see, especially with someone who, like, Penguin, who needs kind of a partner.
Yeah.
And he can't go back to Nigma. Not right away, anyway.
And I think Penguin, with the Gabe sequence, he really learned a bit about himself that no one actually respects him.
Yeah. And
that's a thing people who want power need to learn. Do you want power or do you want respect? They're not exclusive, and they're not always the same thing. If you want both, that's really hard, and you really need to evaluate why you want both.
Well, you have to work a lot harder than Penguin's willing to work if you want both too.
Yeah.
Like, if you want power, that you can obviously...
He has power.
Brilliant.
He's
he
had power.
A lot of moves. But the respect, you have to actually, I don't know, learn people's names and treat them nice and, like, engage them in civic conversation. All things Penguin's not on his checklist.
That's not true. There are plenty of people in power that I respect because they're outwardly terrible people, and I respect that. It's Penguin who deep down inside wants people to like him.
Okay.
That I don't respect. That I'm like, well, you don't want me to respect you because you made a strong show of strength as a leader. You want me to respect you because there's a hole in your heart.
Okay, it's like how I respect Suge Knight because he's a thug and awesome at it. But yeah, if he was like, but I also want you to like me, I'd be like, well, that doesn't make any sense to the person you portrayed yourself to be.
Exactly.
That's weird. Okay, I got
That's
you.
a decent way to put it. Although I don't necessarily respect Suge Knight because...
Suge Knight took some of our greatest rappers of all time. But he's also boss as hell. Like,
I know, but...
his look is amazing.
I agree, but, like, I think if he were trying to just be street and thug, I'd understand that about Suge Knight. But, he tried to be a businessman and then just started capping people. And I'm like, that's not how business works. I don't respect you and your lack of understanding of how business...
He didn't do the Jay-Z pivot.
Exactly. I respect the hell out of Jay-Z for that pivot. I would respect the hell out of Suge Knight. Even if he pivoted tomorrow.
I love where this conversation
Even if he pulled a Jeremy pivot.
Oh god, that was good. That was fun.
But that's my general thought. That's my general thought on being your Jeremy pivot. I just made that up now, and I think it's oh man.
Oh god. So Penguin and Ivy.
But Penguin and Ivy, Ivy has both a command serum that's also kind of a truth serum, which I think will be real handy.
Do you think this is the same one she used on Alfred earlier in the season?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I think it's because it's the same. It's the same serum. It's not like it's two different serums. It's just, and I think it's the same idea of obedience. That if you had something that had me obedient to you, and then you asked me a question.
You'd answer. Okay.
You'd ask me a question about my honest thoughts. Give me your honest thoughts about Suge Knight. And I would give you my honest thoughts on Suge Knight.
Copy.
Whereas if you were like, be obedient to me forever, okay. Respect me. No.
I don't know how to do that.
That's
weird.
That's not respect isn't binary. I just can't respect. You just can't snap your fingers and I'll respect you.
Right on.
And that's what Penguin learned. And Gabe called Penguin a freak, and that did not work out.
When will people learn that you cannot call Penguin names? He's sensitive, and you can't take it. Okay, he can dish it out for a long time, but the minute someone turns those tables, he crumbles just instantly. He's like, no, I've been hurt. I love Penguin, though. But I don't know. It was kind of cool to see Gabe come up. Like, he's kind of, at least for me, just been in the background for so long, just kind of around, not really doing anything. And to give him like a kick-ass death on the way out.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty balling to the writers.
And they gave him a lot because he was there, and as he said, he was there with Penguin, loyal to him as his mother died when no one else was. But then it took some truth serum to just be like, well, I was there out of fear, and I don't respect you.
That doesn't help Penguin at all.
No.
You gotta learn, like, now that Penguin has become Fish Mooney, you need to start playing him like Fish Mooney. Like, you gotta figure out how you're valuable to him in order to stay around longer.
But that's the difference. Like, I would respect Fish Mooney. Because Fish Mooney would genuinely not care. Fish Mooney would genuinely not care. Like, Fish Mooney would genuinely not care what I think. Fish Mooney's out for Fish Mooney and isn't going to lie to me and say she's out for me.
Okay.
I'm out for Fish Mooney. You happen to be valuable to me.
I just identify so much with Penguin because he doesn't like most people, but the people he likes, he's like, I'm about this person. Like,
yep.
He loves the people that he's there for, and everybody else is just chopped liver.
Penguin's got some stuff to work out.
There's something about that I respect, though, of like, look, I know what I want. I'm not really concerned with what other people want. And yes, with that attitude, it is kind of foolish to be like, what I want is people to like me. That's challenging because you don't give them a reason to like you.
There's another leader in the news currently that I'm not a therapist or a doctor, but if gun to my head I had to diagnose this person, I think it would be the same problem that deep down inside there's a hole in them that they need filled by like immediate validation.
Well, I mean, that might explain why they went to a rally instead of the White House Correspondents' Dinner. But I don't know,
And this person doesn't like free speech, but...
also that.
But... And that actually does parallel to Penguin, because they were making, like... I don't even want to say thinly veiled, like, straight up make Gotham great again stuff. Not too long ago.
Oh no! When they were having fun during the election,
he was orange.
Yeah,
Penguin was orange in this show. That my comparison's not too far off.
It is not off at all, and I feel like it'll be interesting to see. I mean, next week obviously we're gonna get some more Riddler stuff, and he'll be making his public debut as the Riddler. I'm really excited to see Oswald's reaction to that. They parted ways as friends. It was ugly. It was bloody. And he's got this drive now to kill Oswald, but I wonder if maybe he'll respect him. Like,
before we get into predictions, Mark Murphy in the chat did help us out. The gentleman with the sword, that was Talon. Talon is a member. Talon is a defender of the Court of Owls. We've seen Talon before.
Yes.
I said we forgot his name. He killed all those people so fast.
You guys, so long ago. Thank you.
Everyone's really loving Ivy in this episode. I'm really loving Ivy.
She's wonderful.
I'm loving that Ivy at the end of this episode pretty much set up what's gonna go down, I think, for the rest of the season, which is, hey, Penguin, why don't you recruit a bunch of Indian Hill freaks? A bunch of Hugo Strange rejects. And I didn't mention it, but we obviously saw that the weapon that the Court of Owls is going to use to level the whole city was from Indian Hill.
Yeah. What is really exciting about this is Poison Ivy's the one who's always left behind or on her own.
Yeah.
Even without, like, since her and Selena separated, she's always been by herself. And the idea that it's her that brings everyone together and potentially could sit at Penguin's right hand for how long? His right hands don't tend to last very long, but it would be really cool to see her, especially going up against Barbara and Tabitha, because there's no way that the four of them worked well together.
Agreed.
I'm getting far too many predictions, but it's so exciting.
That's what I'm saying. I think it is time for predictions.
Yes.
So we're ready.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Awesome.
So, what you think is in the thing that's gonna blow up the place? What do you think the Court of Owls' weapon is?
Oh my gosh. A person, and definitely not a machine.
Agreed.
Which person? And we talked a little bit about this last week. We're getting a lot of, like, Bane, like, visual cues and, like, Easter eggy type
We're getting
things.
a little of that about Bane.
So I would love it if Bane just shows up, because that's a really dope weapon, first of all. If they wanted to go Batman Forever route and hook Bane and Ivy up at some point as these two kind of, like, loner outcast people, I'll be about that life.
I don't know what you're talking about. Batman Forever never happened.
It did, and you guys can say what you want, but I was the right age when that movie came out. It is fun as hell.
Ask George Clooney. He will literally tell you. Ask George Clooney or Arnold Schwarzenegger. They will tell you, I thought we had all the copies destroyed.
I'm Mr. Ice. Because come on, no, Schwarzenegger, you can't live it down. It was perfect. It was beautiful. You gotta just own it. So that's my guess. I hope it's Bane.
I think it is a Batman villain that we have not seen before. So it's, although we did,
new to the whole entire universe, just new
no,
to
but
Gotham.
I think new to Gotham specifically. I think we saw Mr. Freeze last week getting unthawed, or we saw Mr. Freeze in the preview, and that seems too on the nose and kind of a lame villain to take
weapon,
to take down a whole city.
Yeah, I'm not feeling
like
it.
there are very few. I mean, Jerome, no.
I mean,
Jerome,
I can see the court wanting that much chaos. Whatever they have is going to be an efficient weapon.
Yeah, they want a complete wipeout. So Bane makes sense.
Maybe they bring back Azrael.
Azrael would be a good, like, Azrael with proper training would make sense.
Yeah.
Because Azrael's still out there. Fish Mooney's still out there, but Fish Mooney won't level the city.
Also, she's a little hard to control as a weapon. She's always thinking about herself.
So we're thinking of villains that are weapons.
Uh-huh.
Unless it's a bomb that was manufactured at Indian Hill. And then we're like, well, then that's a false herring.
Yeah.
Way to get us
super psyched for a person.
Way to get us super psyched for a giant Harley Quinn. And then it's just
oh my god, I would love to see Harley Quinn as like Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. But it's Harley Quinn.
That That would make sense in Gotham.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna watch that. I would enjoy.
Totally.
That would be the newest. That would be the newest, highest rated Gotham on IMDb. I'd be like, no, that's amazing. They did B-level like horror movie, like 50s horror movie, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, but it's an episode of Gotham. It was awesome.
And she's wearing her DC Bombshells outfit too, like double points because perfection. I want to know what you think is going to happen with Bruce next week. Do you have any thoughts on like where that journey is taking him? Because I'm a little lost.
I think it's going to be a long journey. I would hope we don't get as much Bruce next week as we did this week.
It definitely seems going to be more focused on the long.
Well, because next week, what they're laying down for us, for those who haven't seen the preview, is that essentially Penguin working with Barbara are going to put together a team of Indian Hill escapees to go up against the Court of Owls. The Court of Owls, which will likely have Jim Gordon.
Oh, yes.
And GCPD.
Will we see Gordon and Bruce back together then, maybe?
But Bruce is probably going to be... He's
going to be off doing the other thing with
But it's going to be Clone Bruce. Clone Bruce is somehow going to be involved. We haven't seen Alfred figure out that Clone Bruce is involved. Like, the jig will eventually be up very soon that Alfred's going to find out who Clone Bruce...
It's got to be, because Alfred, he's got to know the real Bruce. Yeah. And I know they did a good job, but, like, no one did that good of a job. Mm-hmm. Like, no one's going to bring just... This is a very changeling situation happening here, and I just need him to have his Angelina Jolie coming to the truth moment of being like, that's not my kid.
The CC Williams in the chat thinks it's just a giant owl. I've had a couple people put a giant owl, like a building-sized owl. That's meaning that the egg was the size. The egg was just the size of that like box, and then you groom that owl over a couple weeks. That baby owl over a couple weeks to be the size of a building and just level the whole city. If Talon can
ride it like Gandalf rode his eagles, then I will be 1,000% for this.
Oh God, I don't. It's comments like that make me wonder if we're doing it right or way wrong. We're like, man.
No, we're doing it 100% right.
Is that a tangent or a spoiler?
If you haven't watched or read by now, I can't help you. We can't contain pop culture forever. At some point, things have to be said.
What else did I have? Do we think Gordon just straight up joins the Court of Owls? Like, he plays along, or does he... And if he does, like, how long till he tries to destroy them? Immediately, right?
Gordon is not known for his temper. He's not a very patient man.
Yes.
So immediately seems right. And yet now that we have him back with Bullock, I really want this show to get into some, like, long-form detective work. And I can't think of any way better to do it than to start with the Court of the Owls and trying to crack that code and see what's going on. But since we're winding down toward the end of the season, and all of our drama is at a very heightened place, my guess is it happens very quickly.
And by the way, scheduling note, 4 more weeks, 5 more episodes.
Okay, got a doubleheader on the last one?
We have a doubleheader on the end.
Nice. Excellent.
Doubleheader on the end. Tweet at me if you hear any season 3 news. I've yet to hear any season 3 news. I feel like they're going to hold out. At this point, they're going to hold out until upfronts. And,
it just makes sense.
And then upfronts will probably be right around before that season finale, so...
I still feel confident that we're going to get another season. It makes sense for them to just finish it out, unless they have, like, 4 major pilots, and they're like, we got to run all of them. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Great. Do you have any more predictions at large?
I'm just waiting for the girl fight that is going to be Barbara versus Ivy, because those two have such large personalities. And they're both all about themselves and furthering their agendas. If Fish Mooney would like to slip in that last, like, 2 episodes and just the 3 of them are fighting for control of Gotham, that's the Gotham City Sirens I would want on Gotham.
Agreed. I think we're not going to see any type of that showdown this season, and if there is a next season, probably not next season, because next season's going to be Gotham City Sirens. And there's talk of Harley Quinn. There's talk of...
It's about damn time.
But, final prediction... Do you think they will defeat the Court of Owls in 4 weeks?
I'll stick with my original theory, which is that they will think they have defeated the Court of the Owls.
That's my thought.
And we will get a nice teaser that says, not yet, son. The Court of the Owls does not go down easily.
Or that the Court of Owls, or that this was like an ancillary Court of Owls. That this wasn't even the real Court of Owls.
They thought they were the top tier, but no.
Or that like there was a Court of Owls that did run whatever state Gotham's in.
Yes.
And like they took down a region, like it's kind of like
the regional branch.
They took down the regional branch of the Court of Owls, and they still have to fight. It's like an NWA champion. Jimbo in the booth got me there. Hey guys, If you want to find us on Twitter and talk to me about Gotham, I am Steve Kaufmann. That's at Steve Kaufmann, Kaufmann. That's also me on Snapchat, but I'll warn you, I get real weird.
He sure does. I just joined Snapchat, and it's a whole bunch of fun. I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me all over the internet at Joelle Monique, every week at blackgirlnerds.com. Come back to the AfterBuzz on Thursday, where I'm doing Genius at 2, Handmaid's Tale at 3, Knife Hour on Popcorn Talk at 4, and Riverdale at 10, because I love being here in this studio. You can always find me over at blackgirlnerds.com. If you head over there now, you can check Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 review. Check back Friday for my review with CNN's WK Bell on his new show, United Shades of America.
I need to do more things. Thank you guys, and good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
I am the Knight.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.